is just one of those days. Hello there. So today, as you can tell, it's night again. Today, me and my puffy hair decided to show up and give you some tea on my favorite everyday products. I need to do something positive, okay? I had a really shitty day. So today we're just going to look at some makeup products that I've been using on the daily, I've been really liking, and I'll try to give you some tips along the way how to speed up your makeup routine, because these days I really need to be quick every morning because I'm usually quite in a hurry. So I will tell you what I use to do my makeup, what's the benefit with it, all this stuff, and I'll show you my favorites along the way. So let's go. Let me get this out of the way. So first I need to get my bangs out of the way, obviously, because we're going to be priming my face. I'm still the same person. I like to double prime, I like to use a pore filler, and I like to use a hydrating primer because my face is quite dry, but my pores are quite big. So, I kind of want to target both of these things. For my pore filling primer, I usually go for the new Catrice Perfector Poreless Blur Primer. This is amazing. It is like this kind of pasty looking primer. It is very similar to the Professional in some aspects of the texture, but I find that it really helps with my pores. And it's nice and silky, but it doesn't feel overly silicone-y. And it also contains niacinamide, which is a plus. And it's a very affordable primer. Catrice, they do quite well with primers, and you get 30 milliliters of product. And it's from the relaunch of the primers, which are actually very good. Okay, the hydrating primer I would usually go for. I used to go for these very lightweight and jelly ones, but these days I'm a little bit more into the gripping ones, but a very specific kind. It has to be hydrated enough. So my face has to be hydrated, but I still want the makeup to be gripped a little bit. So what I've been using the most has been the NYX Plump Right Back Serum Primer. As you can see, it's kind of up here, I think. Yeah. Kind of up here, so I'm almost halfway down. It does have the jelly kind of sticky texture, but it's not overly sticky and feels very good on the skin. So that would be my main choice, number one. And if I wanted something a little bit less sticky but still very hydrating, I would probably grab the Hydrator Primer from the new Catrice primer launch as well. I wanted to mention this one because not everybody is into the gripping primers, and this one is a great alternative because it's still a little bit sticky but not as much, and it's mostly hydrating. I think it has aloe vera, yes, so it's very good, very hydrating as well, but a little bit less, grippy and sticky. When it comes to foundations, my priorities haven't really changed over the past a year and a half. I still go for lighter coverage, hydrating foundations, because I just find that they look the most natural on me, they wear the best, and they don't look too crazy at the end of the day, let's say. The thing is, I never know. When I leave the house, I never know if I'm going to be gone for 6 hours or 16 hours. So I always like to prepare for the worst case. There are just several foundations I've been really liking. One of them is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Plumping Tinted Serum. This is incredible. It wears really well. It's just enough coverage for me. It's just great. Really, I don't have much to say about this. You can check out my review on my blog, but it's an incredible tinted serum and it wears so well on me. Another one that's been my favorite for a minute is the Milk Tinted Sunshine Face Oil. I don't even know what's it called. Yeah, this is the Milk Makeup Sunshine Skin Tint. It's so rubbed off. This is one of my favorite products when I really needed to be quick and I really needed to be good. And the third one, which is fairly new, is the Rare Beauty, what are you called? Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer with SPF 20. This has been my go-to for a past, I don't know, when I bought it 3 weeks. This is an incredible tinted moisturizer. The texture of it is just beautiful. It just wears really well. It doesn't sting my eyes. It doesn't smell like SPF. Just really good. So I think I'll show you this one because I'm pretty sure I use the other ones on camera. Let's just shake it. Okay, and I'll apply just a little bit. And another new favorite of mine is the LY's foundation brush. This is so good. The density of this brush is just perfect to me. So I'm just going to apply this. It's a regular tinted moisturizer. There's not much to say about it. I did shade match according to the guide they put on the Sephora Instagram, I think. And it's just a perfect match. Also, lately I haven't been focusing as much on my forehead because I usually wear my bangs down, so I don't really think it's that necessary. So I don't really focus there and just kind of try to have the like layer of foundation as sheer as possible there. That's also kind of like a tip. If you have a very good foundation brush, it's gonna be fast. Like the application is always fast with a good foundation brush. Just ditching a sponge really helped me to get way quicker because you don't have to wet it, you don't have to squeeze out the water and worry about if it's too wet or not, and it's just so annoying. Yeah. Sponge just feels like one step too much for me in the morning. I just cannot deal with that. Next, concealers. I've had a couple favorites in the past couple weeks because I've been kind of changing up my concealers. Because I use quite light coverage base, I kind of try to go for like medium coverage concealers. I don't really do full coverage concealers all that often anymore, but I do have a couple good recommendations. So I'm not sure if I talk about this one yet, but this is the Maybelline Superstay Activewear Concealer. I really like this one. I think it wears really well. It has very thin texture. It's just overall a very good concealer. And I have the shade 10 and it has like a slightly pink undertone, which works really well for cancelling out my dark circles. And then I also really like this one. This is the Gabriella Salvete Cover Me Long-Lasting Liquid Corrector. This is amazing. They're very similar in terms of texture, in terms of wear time. This one is a little bit more yellow. Pretty much it's a very similar product and I like them both. Today I think I will use this one. So I'll just apply a tiny bit in these two spots. I mean, everybody does it like that nowadays, so it's fine. And then I put a bit on my nose, my forehead, and my chin. Basically what I aim to do with this is just highlight the center of my face and get rid of any darkness under my eyes. For blending out, of course, I need a brush. And I've been using a bunch of different brushes. Of course, this one is just, this is such a keeper. This is the Rossmann Liquid Cream Strobing Brush, which I do not use for highlighter or strobing. But it's just the perfect concealer brush. I really like it for that. Man, this concealer just blends by itself. So that's just very fast altogether. I usually like to set my under eyes next because even when I do cream products, I usually stay away from my under eyes. I'm kind of like switching between setting my under eyes with a brush and a blendiful. I'm sorry, it's dirty, it's from the morning. I usually like to use one of these because I find it very fast. I've been also kind of getting back into like pressed powders. I've been quite liking this one for my under eyes because it's very brightening. This is the ColourPop No Filter powder in the shade Fair. And yeah, as you can see, I've been liking it a lot. So I'll just take the blendiful, I swirl it around a bit, then I'll tap it off my hand and go in. And lightly touch if I think it's set enough, and repeat. This is very fast. If I'm wearing a foundation that's very shiny, I might use the blendiful to set my whole T-zone. Also, I like to set the sides of my nose because I wear glasses on the daily, so, you know, the foundation just, it does get fucked up there no matter what, but at least it, you know, holds a bit better. Yes, I'm still into cream products very much, so there's not really a chance that I'm not gonna use cream products on the daily, especially when I'm in a hurry, because I find them very fast to use. Like, I kind of switch up between different looks. Recently, I went back into a little bit more contoured look with a lot of blush rather than bronzer and then blush. So I've been going kind of back and forth between these two techniques. I think I showed like the classical way I usually do a million times. So I'm going to actually do the contour and a lot of blush one. So this is the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks in the shade Amber. It's a very, you know, classical, cool toned contour, everybody knows it. And I kind of contour the way I saw it at one TikTok video, which is dumb, I know, but it really works. So if you look at your cheek, clearly you can see it on my cheek. There's this spot right here. When it's just darker there, okay, by itself. I don't have anything on my face. So you can clearly like see those two parts. And what I do is I just kind of draw little lines over there. Yeah, like I don't go too harsh. Just, you know, a bit. And then I'll take this brush and I'll just kind of blend it out in one spot, and I'm kind of just going back and forth very lightly. See, I mean, I kind of like the way that looks. I was never very good at contour, but I do find that this looks kind of natural because it's exactly where the shadow actually is. So you're not going from like your ear where it doesn't make that much sense, even though it's not like the best blended contour I've ever seen. I still kind of like how it looks. I'm not a professional. I think we stated that like a million times. Anyway, now comes the blush. But for this particular purpose, I really like this one. This is Melt Cream Blush Light in the shade Sandy Cheeks. I love this blush so much, but it's really like out there. It's really, really strong. I literally do like one dip. And see how much that comes off? Like, it's insane. And then I'll just kind of go ham. Okay, and what I like about this, that you do have a lot of blush. And you have like this very blushy look, but you still have a bit of structure in the cheek thanks to that contour. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I just like it. I like to go pretty high up with my blush these days. Bam, we're done. I like it from the front a lot. The thing with cream blush is that it usually kind of fades a little bit once you powder it down. So I don't really care if this looks a little bit too crazy, because I'm gonna powder it anyway. And now I'm just going to take my foundation brush, clean up a little bit on my cheeks, because my face is quite rounded, so I don't like to have my blush too close. Now what I'm going to do is actually powder my face. And there's just one powder I keep coming back to. I never have enough of it, and it's the Jeffree Star, what is it? It's the Luminous Setting Powder. It's the luminous one though. I mean, I like them both, but this one is just special. I'm pretty sure I talked about it already, but just in case, I have the shade Translucent. I just think it's like the most gorgeous powder ever made. Like, I can't even explain it in a different way, because it's just true. It's the best powder I've ever used for a luminous look that doesn't look like you smeared highlighter all over your face. So, you know, I'll just put a bit into the cap, and I like to use a very fluffy powder brush, because you can, I'll try to show you, okay? You can kind of go like this. Which may look way different on camera than it actually feels. But the thing with this is it's a very fluffy brush. You don't need a lot of powder. And you kind of swirl it like all over the skin and kind of like buff it in, but not like with a dense brush, so it doesn't disrupt the makeup. You know what I mean? If you never tried a brush like this for powder, do, because it's amazing. Now maybe you can see that my skin still has a lot of like sheen to it, right? I didn't apply any highlighter. It's not wet, it's definitely dry, but it does have this like nice lively look to it. I really like that. This is the complexion pretty much like done. This is not really, I mean, it may not look fast to you at this point, but to me this is like 5 minutes of work max. Next, I usually do my eyebrows. For my eyebrows, I've been just coming back to one product. I don't know why, it just works for me really well. This is the NYX Thick It Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara. I have the shade Taupe. This is so good. This is just everything I need. It is a fiber eyebrow mascara. It has quite a thick brush, which I don't really like. However, it really works so well. It makes my brows like twice as hairy, and that is exactly what I want. And that's it. Like, you can clearly see the difference. And also, I have bangs, so you don't really see my eyebrows that much. And that's when I kind of stopped trying. I think these look perfectly fine, especially when no one's gonna see them. Next, I'm gonna take my eye primer. I kind of just circle around with them. I'm gonna use my NARS. And then I'll just grab one of my concealer brushes that I don't use for concealer and just blend it all over the lid. You can use your finger, you can use your concealer brush, you can use your foundation brush, you can use a sponge, you can use anything for this. But I just like to use brushes and keep my fingers as clean as possible. Okay, like when it comes to eyeshadows, I'm not a minimalist. I think we all know that at this point. I just like my colors because it looks like you kind of put in a lot of effort. So I like different textures, different shapes, you know, different just things you can play around with, because it looks nice and it looks like you put in some effort even though you really didn't. And I'm just not gonna settle for some boring ass beige eyeshadow. I need something nice and lively to make me feel, yeah, I did my makeup today and I did good. Now when it comes to like fast eyeshadow, I don't really have any tips, I guess. Like one tip I would have is plan ahead. Like if you know you have 2 minutes for this, you're just gonna slap on beige eyeshadow and call it a day, right? But if you know you have like 5 or 3, maybe you can be a little bit more creative in that department. I have like a little drawer over here where I keep my tiny palettes, and that's where I usually go if I need something quick. So I will just pick like a palette with already made color story, like this one, okay? We have this like 5 in a box palette from Catrice. This one is in Vivid Burgundy look. This is one of the newer ones. And you have like, what, 3 mattes, 2 shimmers, quite a nice palette. But then, because I usually find this very boring, I will pick up something else. So right now I have this Colourpop liner in Joyride, and I also have some shimmers. I'm not sure what we're gonna do, okay? Let's just do something. Lately I've been doing this thing with like a liner because I find it very fast. So because here we have burgundy and here we have burgundy, I'm going to take this Longlasting eye pencil in the shade Berry Fantastic from Essence. I'm gonna go ahead and draw like a little... Not very even, but that's okay. This is like so not everyday makeup for everyone, but... I mean, I know for a fact there are gonna be people who are gonna look at this and be like, you're fucking crazy, woman. This is not everyday makeup, but I mean... It is for me. So I'm gonna pick up the matte burgundy shade on a very small brush, and I'm just gonna try and blend it out as good as I can. You don't have to go too hard on this. We're not going for like a very cut creasy look, so I'm gonna take a slightly larger brush that's clean even though it doesn't look like it. And I'm gonna blend it out even more. Next, I'll take like a nude pencil. I mean, you know the trick, right? It makes your eyes look bigger. I'll pick up the same brush and I'll just run along the lower lash line. And you kind of slowly start smoking out the bottom. I'll just take a little bit of the cream shade. So next I would probably take like a shimmer. I have this, what's it called? Eye gloss powder from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. This is in the shade Peach Goddess. This is fairly new and I haven't used it yet, so let's try it out. It looks gorgeous. So I'm just gonna pick it up on my finger and I'm just gonna, oh my god, this is something. And then I'll just kind of, you know, go back and forth. I emphasized the burgundy a little bit. And then I'll take a little bit of the eyeliner and I'll try to do like somewhat of a wing. I'm not very good at this, but you'll see. And that's pretty much it. It might look a little bit complicated, but trust me, it's really not. So if this is something I'll do twice a week, of course I'm gonna be quick with it. You know, your easy makeup look might look different, of course, that's, you know, diversity. Next usually comes some mascara. I've been kind of going back and forth between a couple of those, but I've been reaching a lot for the Maybelline Curl Bounce. I would say those are the eyes pretty much done. Of course, you could do multiple different adjustments. I do like a ton of different fast looks. This is just kind of the one I've been really liking lately because it's kind of different. There's just something about the burgundy liner that just really resonates with me and I love it. Next step would be finishing the base. If I'm really in a hurry, I'm not gonna go back into any powders except for a highlighter, but maybe just to show you a couple favorites that I would use on the daily basis. For some reason, I've been more into my expensive bronzers. I don't know why. I've been really using a lot my Marc Jacobs bronzer and my Ilia bronzer. Those two, I don't know, I mean, they're just at the top of the drawer. I really like the tone of those two. I'm just gonna use a little bit of the Marc Jacobs one. I've been really keeping everything like at the back of my face mostly. And I've been keeping a lot of stuff mostly like in this area, not really going on the cheeks or anything. I just kind of feel like it flatters my face shape and I really just like the way it looks when I look straight up. And if I were to put any blush on top of this, I mean, I love the way it looks already, but I mean, this is like one of my favorite blushes. This is the Beauty Bay Peachy blush. This is just a stunning blush. So I would take one of these. This is like, I don't know what's it called. Light layer powder brush from Real Techniques. The whole range with these like fluffy dual fiber brushes is just incredible. I would just take a little bit and kind of go over the places where I put the cream blush in the first place. you know, just to kind of like emphasize the blushiness even more. And next we have highlighter, and with highlighters I've been kind of going back and forth between a couple. The first one is the Revlon Skin Lights. I recently got this and I absolutely love it. This is such a good highlighter, but it wouldn't be that fair if I didn't mention this one. This is the Steph Tom's Milk and Cookies highlighter. I mean, look at this. Like, this just fits anything. If I'm doing a very cool tone look, I'll just use the shade Milk. If I'm doing something warm, I'll just mix them or use the darker one. Absolutely stunning. So I just have to use this one because I wouldn't be true to myself. And it's a bomb highlighter. It's so beautiful. Okay, next, of course, we gotta set it a little bit. Even though I don't have to use setting spray with this powder because I don't really need to get rid of any powder, you know, finish. I'm kind of trying to like use up some of my setting sprays because I have a lot of them I want to try out. My everyday favorite setting spray is still the Morphe Setting Mist. I bought the jumbo one actually. Random papers in my drawer to dry my face. And if you have a mascara that's really runny, I would leave it after the setting spray because sometimes this does smudge my mascara. Now all we have left is a lip, so I could go in with literally any lipstick or any gloss that's like, you know, not too much, or I could literally just throw on like a red lipstick because again, this is just a not too much look. But I've been really into lip liner lately, so I'm going to take the Revolution Soft lip liner. This one is, I think it's Toffee Drizzle, but I'm not sure. It's the darker lip kit lip liner. And I'll just line the inner rim of my lip. I mean, either I have a good day and I do it well on the first try, or I don't, and I take a brush. By the way, it's not dirty, it's just stained, okay? There you go. Just a little bit of, just something. And then I will either go in with one of these NYX glosses. I've been loving those so much. Or I will actually grab the thing that actually comes with it, which is the Tinted Lip Balm from the same kit. This is such a beautiful lip color. I love it so much. Puff hair is back, and this is the finished look. So there's that. This is my kind of like everyday makeup, you know, just rundown of products, techniques, and one questionable eye look that I like to do these days. Maybe, you know, this gave you some tips on some nice products you should test out. And otherwise, thank you for having a little bit of an anti-stress, relaxing time with me. I enjoyed it quite a lot. So thank you very much for watching, consider subscribing, and if you want to see more videos when I play with, you know, makeup, you can check out the playlist. See ya!